Hi everyone. For some reason, the first video I had didn't record to its entirety like I thought it did, which is kind of weird. I don't know what happened. Um, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do a second video instead of just doing it all over again. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a second video and start off where I left off in the first video, which is here, the where I started the New York statutes and court rules. I clicked statutes, and in the search box, I just went ahead and asked the question that I chose, which is the limitations um, for breach of contract. But here you already see, there's libel, fraud, breach of warranty, and things like that. So I'm just going to continue and type in my answer, or my question, which is here. What is the statute of limitations for breach of contract in New York? Excuse me. And hopefully it comes up and doesn't take 10 years. There we go. And as you can see, there's like a bunch of cases here that I could choose from: business versus business, person versus person, business versus person, and things like that. And I chose the first one not to be lazy, but because it had the statute along with the case, and with the answer, which is the cause of action to recover damages for breach of contract is barred by the 6-year statute of limitations. See New York's Civil Procedure Law and Rules, Statute 213 in Section 2, Cheeky Payne versus Silico Limited. And I chose this case. Um, I know it's in the Supreme Court Appellate Division, but I chose it in the state. When I saw it in the state as a state case, it was a lot of wording, and it really didn't get to the answer. It just basically showed which party the court ruled against and which party the court ruled in favor of. But it didn't really give any reasoning as to why. Maybe it probably did, but I was like hopped up on painkillers and drugs for my cold last night, so I wasn't really reading in detail like I usually do. But when I went to find the opinion of the same case, which is here, Cheeky Payne versus Silico Limited, I was able to find the statute and the answer for the reasoning of for the court's ruling. And here you can see um, the synopsis background. Plaintiff brought action against defendants alleging breach of contract, unjust enrichment, and fraud. The Supreme Court Queens County into summary judgment in defendants' favor, and plaintiff appealed, which is why it was brought to the Appellate Division Supreme Court, Second Department in New York. The Supreme Court Appellate Division held that the statute of limitations for plaintiff's breach of contract claim was not told by defendants' purported acknowledgement of parties' alleged oral agreement, and it was affirmed, which basically means that the Supreme Court agreed with the state court that this case was recently in. And I'm just going to go ahead and go down. And here are the numbers which are, a part of the state case, which I'm not able to click on. I don't know why, because usually it will let me click on it and go back to that case. But I'm not going to go fumble with it. And here you have the Supreme Court correctly determined that the instant action was time barred under the applicable statutes of limitations. Sorry, I can't read today. The cause of action to recover damages for breach of contract is barred by the 6-year statute of limitations. The plaintiff's contention that the statute of limitations was told by the defendant's acknowledgement of the parties' alleged oral agreement is without merit, since the plaintiff failed to submitted writing to that effect, and general obligations law subsection 17-101 provides in relevant part that with certain exceptions not applicable here, an acknowledgement or promise containing a writing signed by the party to be charged thereby is the only competent evidence of a new or continuing contract whereby to take an action out of the operation of the provision of limitations of time for commencing actions under the civil practice law and rules. Now I'm going to go back. I've already found my answer, which is 6 years. What's the statute of limitations for breach of contract, which is 6 years. But I'm just going to go ahead and go to the statute that that gives that reasoning. Excuse me. And here it shows you McKinney's Consolidated Laws of New York Annotated Civil Practice Law and Rules, which is the CPLR that's been displayed throughout the opinion and the the statute here, as you can see right here. Chapter 8 of the Consolidated Laws, Article 2, Limitations of Time. And I'm just going to go ahead and read 213, subsection 213, section 2. Actions to be commenced within 6 years were not otherwise provided for on contract, on sealed instrument, or on bond or note, and mortgage upon real property by state based on misappropriation of public property based on mistake by corporation against director, officer, or stockholder based on fraud. The following actions must be commenced within 6 years. An action upon a contractual obligation or liability, basically a contract, express or implied, except as provided in Section 213A of this article, or Article 2 of the Uniform Commercial Code, or Article 36-B of the General Business Law, which backs up why what the statute of limitations is for, what the 6 years, what must be done within the 6 years. Whether it's a contract or anything else, is giving you a further explanation as to what can be done within the 6 years for whatever your issue may be. And it has 8 sections: action based upon mistake, action based upon fraud. And that's basically why I chose to stick with that case, even though the state case would not give me any real straightforward answer. Now I'm going to go ahead and write the citation for this case. Excuse me, I have a lot of windows open, which I didn't know about. And now it's going to take my computer like 10 years to do. Takes forever. Okay. I apologize for this, guys. My laptop is like usually extremely fast, but I guess since I didn't close it down properly, it just like out of whack for right now. Okay, so I'm going to choose a blank document and class from hell. Just realizing that's up there. That's not for your class, Ms. Johnson. If you're looking at this video, your class is here. This is a totally different class. So if you see class from hell, that's not for your class. So don't be offended. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change the font so that you guys will be able to see it as clearly as I see it. And I'm going to go ahead and type in my citation for the case that I chose, which was, I'm going to actually put my caps lock on as well, which is actually Chi Payne v. Syndico Limited. I'm going to put the comma as you see there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the statute, 933, New York State, I believe that's supposed to be, period, second edition. And I know a lot of you might see this and be like, well, that's supposed to be a space. But according to the Blue Book for New York State, for New York City, excuse me, there are no spaces in between there, which I found kind of weird, since almost everybody else's state, there's a space between the report that you can find it in and the edition that it's in. So yeah, but that's definitely how it's supposed to be according to the Blue Book format citation. Okay, so the second edition, and then after that space, page 706 is where you can find the opinion for this court case, which changed to federal case. Well, not federal, but went to the appellate court for a different ruling. And that is my citation. Hope you guys were able to see the full entirety of this video and were able to hear me. Thank you. Bye-bye.